on the books, 100 PCPs that we need to have, and that's 2 per precinct, and we have 50 precincts. And so that's 100. We only need 26 filled to be at 100%. And what we're asking is for all of you who come to this meeting to step up and help us. And what we've done is prepared some lists of 4x4s and 6x6s. And 4x4s are people who have voted consistently in the last, 4, including off year and year and generals?
Generals and primaries, that list that we have is.
Okay. So they get out and vote, and they're in that precinct, and they've been in that precinct. So what we're asking each of you to do, and maybe if you don't feel like you can call 50 people, maybe you can call 20, and you can find a partner and pair up. So what we have is, can you go to like 2A1? What we've done is taken Owen's list, which is a list of what we call the 4x4s and the 6x's. And yeah, this first one I think has got a big one. I know you're not going to be able to see it, but we have a hard copy that you can take home and I can mail it. But these are all of the people. So up at the top, this little list is, we have an existing PCP, this happened to be Elliot's, and 229, and all of these, but he's the only person, and we would like to have 2 PCPs per precinct. And so here's all the people who have voted in at least the last 4 generals or primaries. Here's the people that have done the 6. So there aren't too many. I went through the list and there was like...
That's me.
There's one?
So you have to be in your area for a long time. But anyways, there's still a lot of 4x4s. And so what we're hoping that all of you can do is to grab one of the vacancies, and we have a sign up here that's nearby, and you call them, or if it's over, and we want to do this by, I think I said September 1st, so we got a couple months. Good. Because we want to get them filled this year. We don't expect a lot happening in November other than the tax issues of future finance and amendment of the marijuana. But next year it's important to not only rally your area, but also to maybe instill those people to contact people in Arapahoe and help elect Andrew Romano and other people. So, can everybody do this?
Sure. That's what the list looks. I'm sorry, I know you guys sent it to me. That's what the list looks
This
like.
is a sample, but what I have here is a list of, at the top is, if there's, I've only prepared a list for precincts that have a vacancy, and there's only 27 out of 100. Pretty good. Some House districts have 20% filled, so we're in really good shape. And
so these are candidates that they're Democrats and they vote.
Yes.
So you're not going to get a hostile reaction when
Correct.
you call.
And all we're asking
Well, you know
is...
Democrats and they vote.
And the 6, the ones who have the 6
this column here,
means they also do caucus. So those are, people who caucus is I think there were about 135 people in all of House District 2 who were on that 6 event list. So those are pretty serious. Well, do all 6. Have hit the last 2 caucuses, the last 2 primaries, the last 2 general elections in our district, yeah.
Tom.
Does the 4x4, does that go back as far as the 2008, the Obama election?
I think it goes earlier, wouldn't it?
No.
Or does that include people that didn't just sign up then?
No, I think it goes. That's as far back as it goes.
It's
Yeah.
10,
Does it
10 and
include
12,
the
right?
people that just registered in 2008 is what I'm asking. as a possibility, if they voted every time since then, would that include them?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
it could, yeah, yeah.
Like, we're not missing those people that just
No,
got
what we'd be missing is anybody who is new since 2010, because if they're less than 4 years registered or
I've
voting.
had
Yeah.
a reluctance to go after the list if it was prior to that.
That's a good point, yeah, and it's. I mean, I always think it's a good point to keep in mind that when we talk about these long-term patterns of voting history, we are leaving out people who are new to the district, and so we really want to focus on dynamic new Dems in addition to solid, seasoned Dems.
But, you know, it's a good starting place.
Yeah.
And if we can find somebody there, that's great. I think it's important to try and get more young people involved, but it's hard to get their attention.
Well, one of the
older
things
people,
about these-
we tend to stick to it.
One of the things we'd hope for these lists is that you might recognize people on there. I mean, I don't know if we can expand that or enlarge that list so we could see names,
Well,
but,
I mean, the idea
but
is
hopefully,
that if you volunteer, you'll volunteer for a precinct.
yeah.
And you'll have the list, and you'll have it electronically, and you can make it as big as you need to. Because all of these can be individually sent. But most of them have the phone numbers on there, so you can just call them up. And, you know, do 4 or 5 a week, and you'll be amazed. I once did like 50 phone calls on a Tuesday and Wednesday night. I thought I was going to die. So if you stretch it out, you got 2 months to do it. I don't think anybody cannot do it. And if you feel comfortable doing 20 or 30, find a buddy and say, you take the top part and I'll take the bottom part of the list.
And also, once you find the person,
You're
you don't
done.
have to keep calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You may only have to make one call. There may be 50 people on the list, but if you recognize your neighbor who's been meaning to become a PCP for the last 6 months, you can just call them, say hi, and that's the end of your
And you get a
afternoon.
gold star.
But do you have the job description for a PCP or a script? for the
Yes,
phone
yes.
call?
Now, that was the other thing is, we'll have there's a handbook that we can give you electronically, but I think Owen went in and captured the highlights of it, and we can make a little script out of that.
Rita, are you assuming that all current PCPs, don't you say there's 74?
We assume they're all wonderful,
No,
very
well,
good.
Happy mood, ready to go.
You're assuming they're all active and don't need poking to make
Right now,
sure-
we want to fill the 27, and then we will. I think that's important before 2014 elections is to make sure that the people who are signed up still feel the call and want to get involved.
You know, not,
Because it's important. You know, we're a very democratic House district, but it's important to be able to inspire the people that live here, who know people that live in other areas, and call them.
But I mean, my point was, we're assuming that
Yes.
all these PCPs who are signed up are still active and want to be PCPs, and
Right.
well, not to be a nattering naysayer, but I know that they're not.
that was my point.
Yeah, and if, you know, it would help if you were in a precinct and you know that your PCP
Your code.
is
Yeah,
invisible,
yeah.
and you'd like to suggest somebody, perhaps yourself or somebody else, to replace them, that would really help to hear that,
Yeah.
and to strengthen what we've got.
Elliot?
One hole in this that I just realized is that 244 or something like that, which is directly below me, has no PC. They have the 2 of those vacancies are in that precinct. There are a couple of precincts that have no PCP at all,
Right.
so we need to, as a group, decide who's going to call
Well,
that
no,
group.
I'm expecting each one of you that are in this room to sign up and help us fill a precinct that's not yours. But maybe it's nearby, or you know somebody in that area. And, you know, if we can't count on you who are active and come to this meeting, who can we count on? It's too hard to expect 6 officers to call 10,000 people. But if we share it,
Oh, it's only 7,000.
All myself.
Okay, Elliot, You got an
First
extra
one is,
assignment.
are you calling 10,000 people or 229?
You only have to call, what, you sign up for one.
You only have to
That's my
call
precinct.
one.
That's the right person.
How many is the total number of 6x6s that we need to call?
Oh, the 6x6s are.
There's 135 in the
There's only
district.
135, and on every list, there's only maybe one or two. You're gonna have to call the 4x.
How many 4x4s are there?
I think there were about 3,000 or 4,000
3,000.
total, split in 50 district precincts.
But again, as Mary said, you only have to call the first one.
You only have to call one. If it's the right one, you only have to make one call.
My second
Choose
question.
wisely.
So here's another one. There aren't that many
That's fine.
in
I
201.
understand.
I'll take that one.
Danielle said once we got one person, then we can stop calling. Does that mean you expect each of us to find one
Yes.
person to say yes and then we stop?
Well, hey, if there's two vacancies,
Say
Make
yes.
it simple.
No, if everybody
yes,
could find
you
one,
were
that'd be
going to-
perfect,
that's
yeah.
Great.
Yes,
So
for
one
now.
is much better than
Oh, yeah.
none. And
Yeah.
the goal right now is one, and we can improve from there.
And to put it in perspective, we've got 75 roughly percent filled. I don't know what 74 out of 100 is, but roughly 75.
he needs to go to remedial lab.
Call it 80. Call it 80. I don't know. 80% filled. But that is probably above average. I mean, the highest filled historically are about 85%. And
But it doesn't mean we can't strive to be good.
Better,
and
yeah.
get as many as we
I
can.
mean, we're probably middle of the pack right now,
We wanna
and
be
we could
one.
definitely be better, and we should be better.
Are those 6x6s geographically distributed?
Yes, I thought this was gonna take me an hour. I spent 5 hours on this damn list. And, so the yes is I sorted that list to all of these. So it's a bunch of Excel filtering that I did. So on one simple page, you have the information of who is the 4x in that precinct. And then if any of them have been a 6x6 or if they're an existing PCP.
So the idea is not to take the list of 135 6x6s, but to take a precinct.
Whether it's
One
one or
of the ones
six
who
or
are
two.
most likely to say yes, because at least they attended, they've attended
Right.
caucus.
But you're
But
only gonna have
the
one.
goal is to look at a precinct and find the most likely people in that precinct to
Yeah.
say yes, not to look at the whole district, but to take one precinct and find the most likely
and for
people.
those that are big,
That makes sense.
call somebody on the list and ask them to help you, even if they don't have the time or the inclination to be a PCP. Say, hey, can you help me call these other people? And can you be a canvasser when I need it? You don't have to step up to be a PCP, but maybe you could be an active volunteer. So that's always good too. Like I said, a lot of them are single pages. There were several that were 2 pages. And I think one was 3 pages, and that's probably DU.
Yeah,
Well, it could
237.
be DU because there's not a lot of 4x's. So, anyways, and I'll also have all the metrics for each one of them so you know how active they are and what percent they are. But generally, they all fall in the same area.
So, is there a sign-up sheet there?
Yes, so I